Module 10, Understanding Market Dimensions. So today's module is about something very important and tangible in investing and financial markets, but usually not given as much importance because it is not so readily apparent. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. One could argue it's even invisible. So we'll start off with time, working our way up to value and growth, and finish off with themes and narratives before we give tangible examples of how to apply these learnings and how to use market dimension analysis to make better decisions when investing. So this is a quote which will help you understand what market dimensions are. Market dimensions are the forces that shape how prices move and how markets perceive an opportunity. They are not rigid or technical categories, rather they're fluid and more art than science. So the point of this quote here is to show that market dimensions are not exact definitions. It's not a scientific approach to understanding markets and to investing. Rather, it's fluid, flexible, open, and alchemistic rather than strictly science. And in the module, you will see why. This is a pyramid of market dimensions, and we start at the bottom with time. And time is not time in a chart or time day by day. Rather, it is the horizon of time and how markets and investors perceive it at any given point in time. Above time, we have value, which is how investors understand the value of a given security. Let's focus on stocks. So how they perceive the value of a business. And on top of that, we have growth, how they perceive the future value of a business. And you could say growth and value go together to equal total value or intrinsic value. And above everything is the layer of themes. Themes, narratives, bubbles, stories. It's basically what's captivating markets or specific buckets of the market at any given point in time. And we will talk more about this in the module. So this is an excerpt from a Philo Investor education piece that I wrote a few years ago called The Dimension of Time in Financial Markets. Markets sometimes discount 10 years forward, sometimes they discount 18 months forward, and sometimes they completely break down and discount almost nothing. So the dimension of time focuses on the question, how far out? As we just said, 10 years forward, 18 months forward, or not at all. Sometimes long term. So sometimes the market prices in and expects things very far down the future. The market is running at a low preference of time. It is patient. It is positive. It is looking at the future from a bright and optimistic point of view, and is thinking, how much value can this company create way down the line? How much growth? How much can all these segments grow? And it is an optimistic point of view because the market and investors are willing to price in things far down the future. So think long-term is low time preference. But sometimes the market prices in things only in the short term. Short term is when there are doubts, uncertainties, fears, pessimism. Maybe the market is worried about a recession. Maybe a recession is happening at the time. And the market doesn't want to price in things 5 and 10 and 15 years down the line. It's only pricing things in the very short term, like as we said, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, because of the near term uncertainty. The market is not willing to pay up for what could happen beyond that point. And therefore, one could say the market is running at a high time preference. So short term is high time preference. But sometimes the time horizon collapses completely. That's the market breakdown scenario. So a recent example was obviously the crash of COVID, which bottomed around early 2020. And at that point, the market isn't willing to price in anything. The market mechanisms completely break down. Time horizons break down. Investors are running for the exits, are trying to save themselves and their portfolios, and the market isn't thinking about the future. It is not forward-looking. It is not willing to price in anything positive. Rather, valuations flip completely, and that's one of the rare times where you can get rock bottom valuations. The value dimension. The value dimension asks what holds true today. So balance sheet strength, what's happening with the balance sheet of the company, cash flows, is it profitable, is it burning money, is it generating cash, and the business quality. Does the business have a moat? Is the moat strengthening? Is it increasing? What is management doing today to robustify the moat and the business in general? Is it taking good decisions? Is it taking decisions which are destroying value? All these basic value investing and business questions. And yes, growth is part of the value equation, but for practical and illustrative purposes, today we are segregating value and growth, but together, put together, we can think of them as one. The dimension of growth asks what can be the future value. So yes, as we said, growth is part of the value equation, but it is mostly about the future, while value is mostly about the present. So growth is about expectations, optionality, runway. What kind of value can the company produce going forward? Can it build more stores? Can it sell more subscriptions? Can it sell more units in general of whatever it sells? And what kind of value can it create for the company when these sales are materialized? Can they enter different sectors? Can they launch new products or services? Can they take over their whole sector or geography? What is the expectation? What is possible? And again, like the dimension of value, what kind of competitive advantages does the company have? Will it maintain them? Is it strengthening? Are competitive new entrants coming in the space, trying to undercut your pricing, trying to compete with you, take your customers? What is it? What exactly is happening in the ecosystem that this business operates in? And finally, we have the last dimension in the pyramid of market dimension, which sits at the bottoms, and that is themes, narratives, bubbles. And this dimension asks, what's the story? What's the story that this company operates in? And I'll give you an example. So the dimension of time may